Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. We're back with a new episode of Before Sleep Questions, where we explore the strangest and deepest questions that make us think before we sleep. Have you ever stopped to wonder what the Earth would look like if humans suddenly disappeared? Imagine this. 1 second, the world is buzzing with activity, cars moving, people talking, machines running. And the next moment, silence. Absolute silence. The question of what would happen if humans vanished has fascinated scientists, writers, and dreamers for decades. Tonight, let's take a deep dive into this thought experiment, step by step, and explore what the Earth would become without us. The first few minutes. In the very first minutes after humans disappear, chaos would unfold. Airplanes flying in the sky would crash because no one is there to guide them. Cars left running would collide or slowly stop as they run out of fuel. Trains would halt in the middle of their tracks. Elevators would freeze between floors. Power stations, which need constant human supervision, would start malfunctioning. In some areas, electricity would last a few hours, maybe even a few days. But without workers to control it, most cities would quickly fall into darkness. The world would be silent, except for the sounds of nature that we've long ignored. The first few days, without people, pets, and farm animals would be the first to suffer. Dogs and cats would escape from houses searching for food. Farm animals like cows, pigs, and chickens, raised for human care, would struggle to survive. Some might adapt, but many would die out quickly. Meanwhile, wildlife would slowly creep back into towns and cities. Raccoons, foxes, deer, and even larger predators like wolves would start appearing in places where they once feared humans. The balance of nature would begin shifting almost immediately. The first few weeks, water systems would break down quickly. In big cities, no one would operate pumps, so clean water would stop flowing from taps. Subway systems like those in New York and London would start flooding, turning tunnels into underground lakes. Streets would remain eerily empty, but weeds would start to grow in every crack. With no garbage collection, piles of waste would rot, attracting insects and wild animals. The world would begin its slow transformation from civilization to wilderness. The first year. After 1 year, nature would reclaim more space. Roads would be covered in grass, and tree roots would crack through the concrete. Birds would nest in abandoned houses. Wild animals would dominate neighborhoods. In many places, the lack of human interference would allow ecosystems to heal. Rivers would run clearer, the air would become cleaner, and skies once clouded with smog would shine bright blue again. Without cars, factories, or electricity plants, pollution levels would plummet. The first 10 years. In a decade, entire cities would look unrecognizable. Glass windows would break, allowing rain and wind to enter buildings. Steel structures would begin to rust. Without constant maintenance, skyscrapers would weaken. Forests would push their way into urban areas, turning shopping malls into jungles. Wild horses might run through highways. Wolves could form packs and roam freely. In Africa, lions could walk through abandoned towns. Humanity's absence would give animals a chance to spread everywhere. 50 years later. By the 50-year mark, the Earth would look dramatically different. Many bridges would collapse from lack of maintenance. Roads would be completely hidden under forests. Dams would fail, flooding valleys and destroying old towns. Crops like wheat, rice, and corn, dependent on human farming, would disappear. But native plants would return in massive numbers. The sound of human machines would be replaced by birds, insects, and the wind blowing through endless greenery. 100 years later, a century after humans vanish, most buildings would be destroyed. Wooden houses would collapse. Metal structures would rust into dust. Only stone monuments like the pyramids of Giza, the Great Wall of China, and Mount Rushmore might survive. Cities that once represented human achievement would turn into ruins swallowed by nature. From above, the Earth would look like a wild paradise with almost no sign of the billions of people who once lived here. 1,000 years later, 1,000 years after our disappearance, the planet would barely remember us. Forests would cover most of the land. Animals would live freely everywhere. The only traces of humanity might be a few stone monuments and radioactive materials sealed in containers. Even these would eventually break down. It would be hard for any future intelligent species to know we even existed. Earth would return to its natural cycle, just like it was before humans evolved. Tens of thousands of years later, over tens of thousands of years, Earth would completely heal. Our cities, cars, and technology would be gone. Even plastic, one of the most durable things we've created, would eventually break down into microparticles scattered in soil and oceans. If aliens ever visited Earth after our disappearance, they might struggle to find evidence of our existence. The planet would look alive, green, and thriving without a single sign of human civilization. A deeper reflection. But this idea isn't just about curiosity. It makes us think about our place in the universe. Are we temporary visitors, or are we meant to stay? The Earth doesn't need us to survive. In fact, it might be healthier without us. But we do need the Earth. Our survival depends on how well we take care of it. Thinking about what would happen if we disappeared is a reminder of how fragile our presence is. So as you lie down tonight, ask yourself, if humans vanished, what story would the Earth tell? Would nature celebrate our absence, or would the universe miss the spark of consciousness we brought into existence? And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell.